Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Alright, this one happened this past spring semester. Two buddies and I decided to drive from northern central Florida down to Key West for the weekend. It's a nice longish drive, but it's okay. Spent the weekend in Key West doing shit like fishing and chilling at the beach. Weekend ends. On the drive back up, we're taking turns driving. Friend 1 is tired as shit, but took the first shift anyway. I take over driving when it gets dark. Friend 1 hops in the back to catch some sleep while Friend 2 stays in the passenger seat. Driving for a few hours at night, I decide to pull over for some gas and food at a shitty, poorly lit gas station. Ask sleepy Friend 1 if he wants anything. No response. Passed out. JPEG. Alright, cool. Guard the car, sport. Get snacks, peach rings, and an Arnold Palmer. Notice some asshole put nails under my tires so that when I drove off, they'd go into my tires. The fuck? Cashier didn't see shit. Neither did we. The place is lit like shit anyway. Remove them, bail. Head back on the road. About 5 minutes or so later, I remember Friend 1 is in the back when he catches my eye in the rear view. I look back in the rear view and see Friend 1 put on his hoodie he had in the back with him, closed up the hood part and moved over to the right side. So much for being asleep, moving around and shit. What the hell do you think this is? Ask if he saw anyone mess with the car. He doesn't talk, he just nods no. Make a snide comment about Sleeping Beauty, saying he should have come with us inside and gotten some deodorant. He smells like shit. We all smelled. We didn't shower that day after fishing. Driving down a sketchy road with woods on both sides a few minutes. Really dark now. See someone standing in the road, move. Betamax. Friend 1 leans forward a little, awake now. Swerve out of the way of them. They don't move. Suddenly I can see people in the trees and foliage on both sides like a fucking ambush. Ooh fuck, the hills have eyes. Gun it. Thank God I spotted the nails under the tires. Couldn't make out any of their faces, just their shapes. Too dark for my shitty headlights. An hour or so goes by. Friend 2 and I are both freaking out with only a few words spoken between each other. Friend 1 is back asleep, not talking. We see another car drive by not long later, their lights on. As they pass, I look in my side mirror. The passing car shines through my side windows as it goes. In the side mirror, I see Friend 1's face asleep up against the window on my left side directly behind me. Weren't you? Look in the rear view. See he's still in the hoodie in the right seat. Nope. Slam on the brakes, start screaming. Friend 2 says, WTF, what? Then he looks back and makes the realization there are two people now in the back seat. The real Friend 1 is actually finally awake now, dazed and confused. The hooded figure slams open the car door and sprints off into the woods. Hit the gas, all three of us screaming incoherently at each other. What the fuck? Friend 1 says he woke up when we were at the gas station. Right after Friend 2 got in the back with me and put on my hoodie next to me while you were still in the gas station. Someone had been in our car for the past 1-2 hours that we didn't know. I never saw bro's hoodie ever again. We talk about how we almost got trapped and eaten by cannibals in Central Florida all the time. Try to make it into a joke. The humor helps, but that shit wasn't funny.
These ambush situations freak me out. I am interested in real-life sounding situations in particular. Police made an announcement in the paper here about how some lady one town over was driving on the highway and she came to a person just lying in the middle of the road. So she slowed down and just started to drive around him. She noticed someone hiding in the trees beside her car, so she floored it out of there and called the cops. The guy who was laying down started to get up as she left. Also, when my dad was about 11, some people tried to talk him into getting into their car. And here's the story of when my uncle met Clifford Olson. B14, 16 or so. Hitchhiking with friend, pick related, along the highway on the left-hand side. Some guy picks them up. Everything seems normal so far. The guy suddenly speeds up, veers off up a mountain road. They tell him they want to get out. He doesn't say anything, just keeps going up the mountain road really fast. There is a really sharp turn in the road up ahead. The guy needs to slow down if he wants to make it. As he slows down, my uncle and his friend throw their bags out of the car, then jump out themselves. Guy screeches to a stop and starts trying to turn around. They run into the bush and hide, book it down the mountain. They get to the highway, and a few minutes later, the guy drives by them. They see him, and each pick up rocks and tell him to fuck off. I guess he didn't want to risk getting caught by other drivers or something because he kept driving.
It's my 6th birthday. Mom decides to throw me a massive birthday party, invites everyone in my street, and some people from my school. House is literally packed full. My birthday is in the middle of summer, so we had a pool, a bouncy castle, and just about everything. I'm just tearing through presents. Mom says it's time to cut the cake. It's chocolate cake, hell yeah. Go out into the back garden with some friends to eat it. Sitting at the back of the garden facing towards the house, eating this cake and laughing with some mates. Feel a massive hand grab my shoulder, squeal a little, jump out of my skin and drop the cake. Turn around, there's a grown man through the fence that had his hand on me. Tall, chubby, and smelled like BO even through the fence. Hey you. All my friends are just frozen staring at him. Some girl asks who he is, ignores her completely and keeps focused on me. Do you know Anon? This is his party, right? Fucking scared as shit, stranger danger out the ass. Idiot friends point out that I'm Anon. About to run when he grabs my arm through the fence and tells me to wait. Begin noping. Tell him to let go. Friends just run off scared as shit. He pushes a small box up next to me with his other hand. Keeps screaming about how he should let me go. Starts to sound angry, telling me to take it. Basically forcing it against me. Grab it and he lets me go. Look back and he's gone. Mom comes running over with a bunch of other parents. Keeps asking me what happened. Don't know what to tell her, just that he gave me a box. Grabs it from me. She opened it and looked inside. She starts tearing up, closes it, and goes inside the house with some of the parents following her and asking her what's wrong. 12 years later. She and my dad decided to show me what was in the box. She kept it hidden away in the attic. It's a picture of a man, a letter, and an ultrasound picture. Read the letter. Makes no sense and says sorry for not being there. Refers to me as son. They say it's from my dad. My real dad. I was adopted because he was apparently not fit enough to raise me, and my real mother died at birth.
Listening to my father tell stories from Vietnam. They are bunkered down 100 yards from the base of a hill, waiting till morning to scout and report in. They lay down to rest. No one really sleeps. Between 2 and 3 a.m., everyone is brought to attention. A man is heard screaming with pain and insanity. It starts out distant and continues on for minutes. The platoon is armed and scanning the jungle. The scream becomes louder and moves towards their position, defined as ear-piercing and blood-curdling, echoing from everywhere as it moves closer. Everyone is on sights. No one can see movement. The screaming is on top of them. It mutes all other sound. The scream passes on and fades out. They notice the sun is rising. They collect themselves and start their scout mission. No one discusses what happened. They find a platoon of North Vietnamese resistance. No bullet wounds or blast zones. They are just dead. All of them were found as if running from the hill bunker when they were killed. They report it to the camp and say nothing of the screaming man. One Marine brings it up during debriefing. Tells everyone he did. They don't see him after that night, ever again. My father finds out they aren't the only platoon to experience the screaming man. Several other soldiers gone after reporting it. It's not brought up anymore. Most soldiers wanted to take their chances with the North Vietnamese rather than wherever those soldiers went.
Okay, time to share. Grow up in a single-parent home, mom raises me like a hoss. Meet father for the first time when I'm 8. Dad is part of Navajo tribe that fled to Central America. Visit other half of family, fucking cottages and no running water. MFW, no Game Boy. One night I reach for the wall 'cause too dark to fucking see in this goddamn place. An indigenous baby black scorpion stabs me in my goddamn forearm. No hospital for miles. I get a fever and the shakes. My old-ass witch doctor grandma smears herbs and oils on me, starts the chant and shakes shit at me. Pass out, wake up 2 days later. Grandma says I am cured, but now I am touched and will have to carry my burden forever. Years later, 2012. Reunite with an old middle school best friend after he just got back from Iraq. I haven't heard much about him since middle school. We hang out a lot to catch up. I start sleeping with his sister in secret. Life is amazing. Start hanging out at his house to do some drinking and partying. A lot. Every time bro gets too drunk, he starts to violently shake and look at the corners of his basement. He cries and yells, I'm sorry, leave me alone, I'm fucking sorry. I just watched Hurt Locker, determined that he got PTSD, whatever. It happens to vets all the time. One night he gets drunk, same apologies to the corner spook, then he stumbles into his room and shuts the door. I'm alone in his basement, being Polish and cleaning house with booze. Suddenly bro starts shrieking and pounding on walls, yelling, I couldn't, I'm sorry, oh my God, please. So drunk at the moment, recapping all this, got goosebumps. I muster up my remaining sobriety to walk down the dark hallway to save my bro from his PTSD. I crack open the door and see my bro in bed, under the blankets, laying flat on his back. I see nothing wrong, all the screaming and banging subsided. Fuck, maybe my drunk ass just imagined it. Look in the corner and see a tall, black figure with a human shape but hollow eyes and hollow mouth. I don't know WTF am I doing here. I start talking to it. I command it away and it refuses. I sloppily reach for bro's ka-bar knife and slice my hand open. WTF am I doing? I slather my stinging, bleeding wound all over my face and my bro's face, then I whip blood at the shadow. The shadow screeches and scrapes at the wall. Suddenly the shadow turns into a young man in his 20s, dressed in army uniform. He is crying. Part of his head looks like it was blown out. Bro suddenly wakes up, his eyes burst open and he starts screaming again. I'm sorry, just let me be. Army Spook's features slowly turn back into the shade and begin to slide forward towards bro who is frozen in his bed. I don't know what I'm doing, or where is all this coming from. I squeeze my hand wound hard and walk towards the spook. I place my hand on the shadow and mutter, Go, be at peace. Suddenly silence. Spook disappears in the blink of an eye, almost like nothing happened. I look at bro, he is fast asleep. My hand is bleeding like crazy now, my drunk ass cut too deep. Pass out by bro's bed. Wake up bro is giving me an IV that he stole from the army. My hand is all bandaged up. Turns out bro was a battle medic who was remarkably gifted. His fellow army bro got part of head blown off by a sniper and was alive for 14 hours afterwards. In his final moments, bro's comrade begged him and asked him why he wouldn't save him. Bro's comrade spent his final hours delirious, not knowing why he was in the med barracks. No one had the guts to tell him he had half his brain hanging out. Spook has never returned since. Bro is a Chinese, and he burns incense daily now in honor of his fallen bros. Since then, I have helped 6 other friends with spooks, 3 of which were house spooks, 1 dorm room spook, and 2 garden spooks. I can feel when a person is being haunted. I help people for free. Why did this happen to me? I didn't ask for this.
Creepiness that started it all for me. Be me. 4-year-old little girl. Single dad status, mum walked out months ago, struggled with mum leaving. Didn't sleep well much. One night, wake up, it's about 11 p.m, full moon out. I decide to look at the big moon in the sky till I get sleepy. Look out the window, see a man in a suit standing in the parking lot in front of my apartment complex. I look at him. He looks back up at me. I can see his grin even though his face was in shadows. Feel a sense of fear. Blackout while standing at the window, come back to it standing at the window. It's now 6 a.m, and the sun is shining, go to bed scared. My dad told me that I used to have nightmares a lot as a little kid. I also went through a phase where I had selective mutism. Said it started a few months after mum moved out. I have really no memories of when I was a little kid. I have very few, very vivid memories.
Be 17, have a girlfriend. She gets scared literally by anything. Once a horse scared her to tears. We are bantering a bit and I say she's scared of everything. She says she's not. I laugh hysterically. She asks me to take her to the most spooky place I know after midnight. I agree. We go to the abandoned train station with an underground part, took a crowbar and a flashlight. Relevant later in the story, I was there before with friends and knew about the locked restroom cabin. My girlfriend and I go there late at night, cold as shit.
Fortunately, I took a jacket, and my girlfriend is scared, and already hugs into me tightly. Feels good, man.jpg. We walk around, she calms down a bit and plays tough girl. She almost falls onto a dead deer. I knew about it and wanted to scare her. Great success.gif. She curls up in the corner and starts crying quietly. It took me a good 20 minutes to calm her down. Tells her that we should come home. We go further into restrooms with closed ones. Only closed doors in the whole building. Only cabin with something like a roof. We have to come around a big hole, which was the main reason why the station was closed and abandoned. Some caves underneath. Hard and dangerous, slippery and narrow floor near the walls is the only way in. This is stupid. We may die.wma. Okay, then .mov. As we are there, I tell her about rumors about this closed cabin. Some say someone hung himself in there and noon checked. She gets pale as I start to pray while opening the stall. As I open, I see a rope made into a hanging noose and a black figure hanging with big white eyes for a split second. Black figure vanishes, noose stays. Girlfriend in shock. She saw the same thing. We run for our lives. Girlfriend almost falls into the hole. My home is around 3 kilometers away. We ran the whole distance. We don't sleep for the whole night. In the morning, I check this shit out. The cockpit cabin is fucking closed. I'm done.png. This was the scariest experience in my life, but I'm alive, which is nice.
My mom had just moved in with my stepdad at that time. There also is a graveyard on the land about 80 meters from the house on the land. Be me, 17 years old. Wake up at exactly 3 in the night. Checked phone once I woke up. Feel like a loud noise woke me up, but I was not sure if it was a dream or reality. Go upstairs to grab something to drink since I'm thirsty. See the fridge door is open, and the cheese is lying on the table. I picked up the cheese to put it back in the fridge, and realized the fridge was recently opened because there wasn't any ice in the back of the fridge, and the cheese was just put on the table since it was soft and didn't have a crust. Just put it back in the fridge and close it, thinking it was either my mom or my stepdad, then proceed to go to bed. Talk to my mom and stepdad about it the morning after. After I told him, he tells me about his son my age, who experienced things in the house. It got so bad he had to call a priest of some sort to help out. Even after the priest was here, his son still spent most of his time over at his mom's.
I had a somewhat spoopy story from when I was around 15. My neighbor had a country house, 2 hours' drive from home, that we would gather our friends and take the weekend off over there. The house was pretty big, almost in the middle of the land with a pool at its left, lots of orange trees in the back, and a little house for the caretaker, just besides the pool. So, a lot of room to run and hide. One trip, we decided to play a team tag game over there at night, and that's when shit got weird. So, Greentext time. Be me hiding. Inside the house was not allowed. Thirsty, so decided to cheat a little and grab some water. As I was in the kitchen, noticed the whole adversary team run to the right, leading to the back. "Da fuck? I'm the last in my team. Who the hell are they chasing?" Take the chance to get outside and hide properly. Be tagged sometime after. A friend asks, "How did I ran so fast?" It wasn't me, bro. Game on. Now on tagger side. Grab another friend and go scout the back of the house, where the orange trees are. Duck to see if there are any legs crossing around. Check a tree shadow to my left. There's a fucking human shadow coming from the tree shadow. Looney Tunes style. I shit you not. You know when a cartoon hides in the back of something impossible, like a street lamp, and then just puts its upper body out? That's what it looked like. Call my friend, dude, WTFI's this. Can't be a branch? We checked it. The angle was wrong. Nothing behind us that was projecting that shit. We both stare at it a good 10 seconds before deciding that we should go look somewhere else. And the game that made us call it a day and haul us back inside was when a friend came running like hell from behind the pool area, almost in tears. He said that he went hiding when he saw the silhouette of someone close to him. He thought it was someone hiding there too, but when he came close, it was just a big-ass shadow-like mass that looked like a person with his arms crossed, looking straight at him. He was really fucking pale when he told us that, so we decided video games were a better idea at the moment. We used to have a lot of fun there, but there were always weird-ass shadows in that place.
Not strictly supernatural, but has made me feel more unsettled than anything else in my life 14 or 15-year-old Britbong, on a school trip to Russia. One day we went on a tour of a relatively upscale art museum. Me and my teacher walked through a pretty crowded room, 2 people walking towards us, engaging in a conversation. At least one of them is wearing a sharp blue suit. As they pass me and my teacher, we hear 2 words from their conversation as clear as day. Anon Anonson, my first and last name. Nope. Turn to my teacher. He's as white as me. Ask him what could possibly have been said in Russian that would sound like my name. He has no answer, looks me in the eye, and says something like, "It's probably best you never think about that again." Think about it all the time. Bring it up with him before I leave school. He brushes it off. Think about it forever. It was probably nothing, but I can't stress enough how clear and pronounced they said my name, and how even my fluent Russian-speaking teacher couldn't think of anything else it could have been.
This story is legit. Take it as you will. Step-grandpa was a workaholic. Bought a 5-acre property in '93. Spent every waking moment building that house to his satisfaction. House is almost complete. Drove down an extremely dangerous highway for supplies. Got out of the truck because he dropped something and ended up getting hit by a car. A passerby saw the hit and run and stayed with Grandpa until he died. Months pass. Hear footsteps and hammering in the back of the house. Very faint, but undeniable. We went to check it out, and now the hammering is coming from the other side of the house. Learn to live with it. Years pass, guests come and go, and revel in the creepiness. Eventually, Grandma can't afford the property. One too many loans on the house. Go to check on her. She's in her room, sitting cross-legged and praying. Candles and incense everywhere. She asks for forgiveness and strength. She dips her finger in a cup of oil and presses it to her forehead. Faint footsteps are heard in the back of the house. She pulls out her revolver. Property is in the mountains. Everyone has a gun. I shut the door and back away, panicked. Boom. Time goes by and we go back to visit the new owners. They're hesitant, but they allow us to walk around. We don't mention the deaths, but we ask about any sounds. They confirm that faint footsteps can be heard throughout the house, and a slight banging sound. Story is getting long, and I don't know how to end it, but you get the gist.
Okay, this happened yesterday. My dad calls me around noon, asks if I can help an uncle pack his stuff before moving. Okay, no problem. Pick up my girlfriend and 2 of my cousins for extra help. Drive around an hour to my uncle's place, a dilapidated building dating from the early 20th century. My uncle, he's 80, has lived there since he was a kid. The building is condemned and about to be demolished, so my uncle has to move out this month. His home is a wreck. Wallpaper is peeling off, mold everywhere. There's a huge hole in the ceiling. Metal stairs shake like a Jenga tower every time someone goes up. Help Uncle pack stuff and move boxes downstairs. My girlfriend notices there's a big closet in my uncle's bedroom, made of solid wood, weighs a ton, and has a mirror in front of it. Uncle explains it used to belong to his mom and has a lot of history behind it. My great-grandparents hid a priest inside during the Cristero War, a period of Mexican history when Catholic priests were hunted by the government. An uncle almost died inside of it during a game of hide-and-seek in the early 50s, and according to my uncle, the closet shakes by itself, and you can hear knocking coming from inside from time to time. Too spooky for me. One of my cousins, let's call him Max, remains in my uncle's room to clean some shelves and throw out some garbage. Me and my girlfriend go to another room to pack up a few piles of old magazines and souvenirs gathered by my uncle during his youth. 10 minutes later, there's a loud crash coming from my uncle's room. Max comes running like hell, saying there's something inside the closet. Apparently, it shook so violently that the mirror broke. Uncle comes up and asks if we're okay. Apologize because Max is a moron and he broke the mirror. Max denies it, saying it was something from inside. Uncle says, I believe you. Go to his room. The mirror fell off. There are no glass shards on the floor. It wasn't fragmented into pieces. It just fell off. Max says it shook and the mirror fell off. Uncle smiles and says that fucker doesn't want to leave. There's a clearly audible thump coming from the closet. Nope. Pick related, it's the closet.
Sorry for my bad English. Be me 11. Not into paranormal stuff. I'm at my grandma's house for the weekend, alone. Grandma says she'll be back at 9 p.m. Her house is not very big, but it's very cold and creepy. I was walking to the toilet to pee when I heard a voice. Nope. Docs. Something was saying to me, you'll never get rid of me unless you die. If you get out, I'll kill you and your family. I thought the voice was coming from the storeroom next to the toilet. I am terrified, but I still opened the storeroom. Nothing there. Heard a horrible scream. Ran to the door and opened it. I'm now in the street, running directionless. Suddenly, I see my aunt driving a car. She approaches me. Her. You look stressed out. What the fuck is going on? I tell her what happened. She smiles. Her smile was kind of evil. She tells me, ghosts aren't real, right? Her voice sounded like the voice I heard at my grandma's. I now think she is not my aunt. Nope. X. Ran to my uncle's house. BTW, my aunt never drove and never had a car.
My family has a history with supernatural shit going on. The more spooky stuff happened when I was 5. Got 3 stories probably related to each other now that I think about it. Be 5-year-old me. Be alone in the house. Preteen sister outside smoking with teenagers. Anon, stay inside. Okay. Hear a voice that sounds like multiple people talking in unison coming from my mother's room down the hall on the 1st floor. I am in here, Anon. I am in here. WTFA my hearing. Try to go outside and explain to my sister. Shut up, Anon. Go back inside. Go back in and hide under a desk. If I cover my ears and close my eyes, it doesn't exist, right? Schrodinger's cat up in this place. About 2 months later, spring cleaning. Told to go to the basement to clean shit out of it. Light left on, thank God. Remember, we have a hole in part of the basement wall leading to underneath the house's floorboards. Go full spurg. Stare into the hole. See child-sized shadow figures crawling around. Somehow don't notice me. Run like a bat out of hell to the 1st floor. Hell if I can remember how long it was after that. But here is the last part to the possibly interconnected hauntings. Late at night, and my mother is working late. Sister has a friend over. They're talking up in her room. Hang out there with them because of past paranormal shit. Her friend says, "It's around 12 o'clock, so my mom will be here soon." A few minutes pass. Doorbell rings. Sister turns to me and says, "Anon, can you check to see if that's her mom?" Don't want to go by myself. Go anyway. I decide to grow a brain, and instead of opening the door, crack a hole in the blinds with my fingers. See a shadow figure of a lady with scraggly hair standing like she's about to fall over. Look to the driveway and see a shadowy minivan. Rush upstairs, freaking out. "Anon, you moron! It's probably her mother." Try to tell them that opening the door would be a bad idea. Woman and her minivan are gone. I told you so. .jpg. Why the hell she was with a minivan, I'll never know.
I'm reposting this from another thread because it's the closest thing I have to a nope story. Around 9, 10 at night, chilling on the beach with friends, hanging out, chatting, etc. Off in the distance, people are taking pictures. They're about 500 feet away. We can see the flash going off. Suddenly, during one flash, a silhouette appears. A silhouette of pure white light, not shadow, about 250 feet. Away from me, disappears in an instant. My brother and close friend both turn to me. What the fuck was that? All 3 of us saw what looked like a pure white silhouette of a man running directly towards us, about halfway between us and the picture takers. It disappeared in an instant, the same time as the camera flash. To this day, I have never seen anything like it, but it will always stick with me.
Be me, 5 years old. At grandparents' house, the house is so big but creepy as fuck. Playing with my brother and cousins. Decide to play hide and seek. We start the game, I need to hide from my cousin. Decide it would be good to hide upstairs because they think it's creepy. Everything for victory. Peeing upstairs, trying to find a good place to hide. Suddenly blackout. When I got my consciousness back, my parents and uncles and aunts were already there near me, seeming worried as fuck. I got into one of the fucking rooms somehow. They told me I had disappeared for hours, and when they finally found me, I was giggling by myself on the bed in one of the rooms. All of my what? A year later, my grandparents moved from that creepy house. To this day, I never knew what actually happened back then.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.